So as well as the Lions Tour and then senior tours as well, we do have another big championship going on this summer, and that is the Under-20s World Championship, in which England are the current holders. So can they go back to back? Now, the second half of this video is me asking head coach Mark Mapletoft some questions about this, so no, do stick around for that. And I said, are you in the toughest pool? And he pretty much admitted, because he's a very honest guy, yeah, we probably are, because they've got South Africa in that pool. Yes, they avoid France and New Zealand, the other big favourites, but they've also got Scotland, who are decent, but South Africa and Australia, and that's really, really tough, because you kind of have to win your pool. There is one spot for the best second place, but you don't want to rely on that. You want to win your pool, so you've pretty much got to win every single game in your pool, and there's only 5 days between the turnaround, so I asked him about that as well. But anyway, let's have a look at this squad, and I'm going to pick out what I think is their best team, the team we might see going into those big games, or maybe just every game, as you've just got to win every single one. Now, once again, England have a really strong pack. The back line is very good. We'll come to that as well, particularly the back three, I think. But look at that pack. I think Ralph McEachran of Sale will start it off at loosehead. Then, of course, we're going to have Keputu Pelutu of Bath at hooker. He is an absolute star. They're going to want him to start pretty much every game. They'll probably take him off if they're winning fairly comfortably, but he is a big player for them. Yes, he's their technical guy in the scrum and the line out, but he is a hell of a ball carrier, got an amazing offload. We even saw a chip kick for a try in the Six Nations. And then Billy Seller at tight head, who is an absolute monster. So front row, once again, is a huge strength, and you've got the likes of Ty Raymond of Sale again to come on. Gooley pretty much backs up to Pelutu, so it's very settled, and the second rows are very settled as well. One of the co-captains is Tom Burrow. He was the co-captain, or the captain, in the Six Nations, so he's going to start in their best team. You're going to start Shodake as well, as he's an absolute titan for the under-20s, and you're definitely going to start Junior Kapoko, so you can't not all have them in the team. So I think we might see Kapoko at 6, as we did a bit in that Six Nations. 7 could be a shootout between Timmins and Treacy, but Treacy's a bit younger, so I think Timmins would get it with Treacy on the bench. And number 8 is definitely going to be Kane James, a massive player for the under-20s, has been for a long time now, actually. Into the back line, where do they go with the half-backs? Well, it's definitely going to be Archie McParland at 9. The Northampton 9 got injured in the Six Nations, but he was going to be the starter then. Ben Cohen is the nerveless kicker. Do they go with him or Josh Bellamy, who's a much more flamboyant runner? He's from Harlequins. I don't know. Maybe in these tight games they'll go with Cohen, go with that kicking, and have Bellamy to come on, although we did see Bellamy at 15 in a warm-up, but I'm pretty sure 15 is going to be Ben Redshaw, who's the co-captain anyway. He was a big miss in the Six Nations, has been injured an awful lot for Newcastle for the under-20s, but this is a big tournament for him. In the centres, I think we're going to see the 2 Nicks, Allison and Lilly, and one of the wingers will definitely be Jack Bracken, who's an absolute talent, amazing pace, but got all the skills as well, as you'd expect from a Bracken. On the other wing, I think we'll see Tyler Afar, obviously son of Martin Afar, and he's got some serious wheels in him, as you would expect. So it's a very good team. They do have a chance to go back-to-back, but it's such a tough tournament because the tight turnaround, you've got to win every single game, and it just carries on 5-day turnaround into the semi-finals and the final. It's going to be super exciting. If you have time to follow it, as well as the Lions and the seniors as well, do get involved. It's going to be a lot of fun, and stick around for that interview after this. Great to speak to you again. You've got the squad out, obviously, for the Under-20s World Championship. The first thing that struck me about this championship is very extreme turnaround between the matches. It looks like 5 days between all the matches. You guys as coaches, how do you plan to cope with that, considering it's only the top team guaranteed from each pool to go through? I mean, how on earth do you navigate this minefield?
Well, luckily, Rich, it's like this every year. So I've done a few of these now. It's not easy. It does require a good squad effort. I think rest and recovery is crucial. So the lads understanding what those protocols are like and what their expectations are for them. Having a hotel with a pool helps because it's going to be super hot out in northern Italy. So we've got a lot of experienced people who've been to a number of World Cups now, so they understand what that looks like, and being able to trust the squad to play games, trust the players that they're going to look after themselves in between the games, and ultimately the training tapers off towards the end, just simply because it's impossible really to keep going with that level of intensity the last two tournaments we've been to in Cape Town. Weather-wise, that will be totally alien to what we're going to get in Verona and Rovigo, etc. So yeah, it was good going to Georgia last week. It was a good bit of prep. It was hot, apart from game day, which didn't help. But yeah, we're all set.
Cool. So you say it's like not overdoing the training is the key, then, is it?
As the tournament progresses on, you've got to get the knowledge and the organisation into the players. We've had 2 weeks of prep. Games have gone well. Touch wood, we can replicate that when we actually get into the tournament matches. So yeah, it's the recovery piece is crucial, and I say we've got a lot of experienced people. Someone like Gaz Edwards who's our sort of sports therapist. Gaz has, I think, been to 16 or 17 of these.
Wow.
So he's well versed in what that looks like, and his experience and knowledge alongside the medical and S&C will be critical for us.
Yeah, I mean, talking of experience, it looks on paper like it's a very experienced squad, but I mean, by the nature of under-20s, it's always changing. To you, is this a more experienced squad than normal with kind of the veterans in there?
I'd say it's probably on a par. If you get your planning and preparation right, and your pathway is robust enough to give younger players the opportunity to step up when they're ready, irrespective of age. I think we demonstrated that pretty well last year with Angus, Jack, Lucas, and even Junior all being of school age. This year we've given Will Knight the opportunity, who's fresh off the under-18 Six Nations Festival in Vichy. He did brilliantly there. He stepped into this environment and he's picked up the baton pretty well. So look, we're very much, if it's the right timing for a young player, whether he's still at school, whether he's at school and he's under 18, or whether he's at school and he's under 19. Yeah, look, we're just very happy to give these players an opportunity to test themselves on the world stage, which is, I guess, the whole purpose of the tournament.
Yeah, very exciting. I appreciate there's lots of other people wanting to ask questions. So I'll finish with one kind of direct one, which you may or may not want to answer. The pool, very tough. Is this the toughest pool out of the ones there? Scotland, South Africa, particularly, in Australia.
When you look at it like that, you would think so. Scotland have done brilliantly to qualify this year. I thought their last performance against France was a huge step in the right direction. Sounds like they had a good warm-up game against Ireland as well. So if they're coming in as the 12th ranked team, then you're thinking, wow, this could be tricky. Look, Australia and South Africa are ranked where they are because of their finish last year. Realistically, is that reflective of where they'll be this year? Probably not. So yeah, on paper it's a tough pool, isn't it? But yeah, I think I'd be belittling the other pools to say this is the toughest. It's they should all be tough pools with 12 teams stretched across Six Nations and the Rugby Championship. It should be difficult, and even with teams like Georgia who don't get the opportunity to play against some of those sides in competitions like we do, they're no pushovers. We played really well last week against them, but they're typically a good side. So yeah, look, tough group, we're prepared, and if we come out on the right side of it, so be it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time, and all the best.
Pleasure, Rich. Thank you.